is 4 Downs.
And 4 Downs is brought to you by Geico. Switch to Geico today and see all the ways you could save. Here on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Harry Douglas in for Key and J today. Ready to play 4 Downs, Harry?
Let's do this, Max. It's Happy Friday.
It is Happy Friday. All right.
First down.
Jets at Bills.
So the Jets are at the Bills indeed. The Bills are 10-point favorites at home. Jets have already beaten them this year. The Bills are 10-point favorites at home, and the over-under is 43 exactly. I love to say on a hook, but it's just 43, Harry. Here is the question. Will Mike White prove that he is the Jets franchise quarterback?
It's a big possibility, but you do have to understand, like, the Bills have a hell of a defense still without Von Miller. Remember, Mike White threw 4 interceptions last year versus the Buffalo Bills, so I hope he definitely doesn't watch that game. But I do believe in Mike White. I just love the energy that the team has towards him. I love the love that they have for him, and everything that I experienced being in the locker room says that that's a positive environment for Mike White to succeed.
The question I have about Mike White and the love the team has for him, and credit to him, I think about Carson Wentz, whose teams don't usually perform for him the way they perform for other guys,
Yep.
especially considering his talent. Wentz is a talented guy. When Nick Foles took over the team, they were on their way to the Super Bowl, right? But it was still the regular season. Carson Wentz was having an MVP year. Nick Foles, can you win? Won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. The next year, though, they were dead in the water. Dead in the water, like 500. Nick Foles took over. They caught fire. They won a playoff game against the Bears defense. A lot of people thought we're going to get out of the NFC. On the road at Soldier Field.
Should have won the next
Should have won at New Orleans.
I was at that game.
I mean, you go to Chicago and New Orleans, the team loved Nick Foles. It was obvious. Jalen Hurts, too.
Yep.
When he took over, the team loves the guy. You can see the way they play for him, right? So, but you wonder sometimes, but is that the Carson Wentz effect? In other words, not only do they love Nick Foles and Jalen Hurts, but they also don't like Carson Wentz. I don't know for sure, although I've heard things, right? So some guys, and locker rooms are hard to get everyone behind one guy. I wonder how much of the Mike White love on the Jets is disdain for Zach Wilson. And so not only do they like Mike White, but it's like...
They're wearing T-shirts to the game.
Come on, man.
They're wearing T-shirts.
That's a little extra,
and let's be
Harry.
honest now. Against the Minnesota Vikings, if Braxton Berrios catches the damn football in the end zone, they probably win that game.
Oh, they're going to win the game.
They probably win that game now.
So that's the question I have. As long as he's not Zach Wilson, right? But I liked what Coach said. Robert Saleh said a lot about Mike White. He makes the easy look easy. He's not, Zach Wilson.
Don't
remember
make things
in college,
look hard when it's not supposed to be hard.
He practiced off-platform, off-schedule throws. Zach Wilson, like he wanted to be like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, and Mike White's like, I know I'm not Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. Let me keep this simple. All right. Time for second down.
Second down.
Eagles at Giants.
So the Eagles are 7-point favorites. I'm surprised it's only 7 points
Me
the way
too.
they're playing. And the fact is the Giants are playing very well. They just don't have the personnel right now, right? The over-under is 44.5. It's on ESPN radio, coverage at noon Eastern. Here's the question about the Eagles, Harry. First of all, let me say about the Giants. I believe Daboll is coach of the year because the other guys you can point to are working with a lot. This dude is whipping up. It's like a chef competition. He's whipping up some nice dishes. No ingredients. Everyone else got the ingredients, right? Yeah, if you give someone the best meat, the best this, that, they'll whip you up something good. But give them leftovers, see what they can do, Daboll's doing incredible work with those leftovers.
Yep.
Meantime, Sirianni has the most loaded roster in the NFL, I would say, front to back, both sides of the ball. Them and the Bills, but they're healthier. Detroit as the number 1 overall pick with top 5 for a lot of time arm talent and sometimes getting a team that wasn't that good to the playoffs where they really didn't have any business being, but they weren't winning in the playoffs. They haven't won a playoff game in a billion years, 60-something years, and one playoff win. And really the question about Stafford is he just a loser, right? People were asking that. Is he a talented loser? So think about your Matthew Stafford. The first time you're in a winning situation, what are you going to do? He won the Super Bowl, and he did it after Tom Brady had led his team, the defending champ, on a touchdown drive to take the lead, and your team is feeling the pressure. You can't snap the ball. You can't hold on to it. Now it's Stafford's turn. Time's running out. Takes him right down the field, scores his touchdown with some great throws under intense pressure. Stafford has proven every single thing he needed to prove year one. The first time he's in a winning situation, the man won the Super Bowl. Harry, he's made his money. He legit might step away. I mean, you can't rule that out. You just put yourself in his position. Is Baker, therefore, after what you saw last night, maybe the long-term answer? Nick in Ohio. You're on with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Harry Douglas in for Key and J.
Hey, good morning, guys. Here's the thing. Baker has to be the backup. You have to bring him in off the bench. He has to be the underdog. If you make him the starter, that's going to ruin it. He needs to be the guy. Don't give him a playbook. Don't give him a locker. Don't give him a handshake. Just have him go in there and tell him to perform.
Well, no, I think the situation that he's been in, I think last year, and having to fight and claw for a spot and to be a starting quarterback, I think that's a learning experience for Baker Mayfield. I think that's a growing moment for Baker Mayfield. Last night as well, I think, was another growing moment for Baker Mayfield. So I won't sit up here and just say that he has to be a backup and don't give him a locker and do all that. I just think that's a little excessive. I'm just saying, like, with Baker Mayfield, what you've seen last night, and we know what we know about Matthew Stafford, and we do know this is not his first back injury or anything dealing with his back. You have to consider this if you're Sean McVay, if you're Les Snead of the Rams, like, okay, there's a possibility that Matthew Stafford may walk away from the game of football. Because at the end of the day, listen, the game of football is marvelous. It was great to me. But it doesn't trump being with your kids, being with your family. It's just a game, right? There's more to life than football. So I think it's a perfect situation for Baker Mayfield to be the starting quarterback for the Rams moving forward.
Josh in Connecticut, what you got?
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Good morning.
I got to say, I think this is an egregious overreaction that Baker should be the future of this team. I mean, we're really talking one quarter where he showed up last night. And if you want to give him the next week, 2 weeks, okay, but the future of this team, I mean, Stafford is paid through, 2026, big money, 2 first-round picks for him. I mean, that's just a huge overreaction, in my opinion, guys.
All right. I mean,
I don't think so, though, Max, because it's not like we're talking about Matthew Stafford playing terrible and playing bad. We're talking about Matthew Stafford having a spinal contusion.
I think the overreaction is really tied to Baker and who he is too, yes. Right? You don't get to be the number one pick for no reason.
No.
Like if you are Jamarcus Russell, or you are what's his name with Peyton Manning's draft, who's turned it around.
Andrew Luck?
No. Ryan Leaf, or you could say whatever you want about those guys. There was a reason they got drafted up high like that, yes. Right? It's in there somewhere. Baker Mayfield, Sam Bradford, guys who worked out or didn't to one level or another. When you go one overall, you can play football. It doesn't mean it's going to work out in the NFL, but something's in there. And Baker has shown that on the NFL level. He, as I said, top 10 QBR in the playoffs, a couple of years ago when he was healthy on a good team. From one guy who could be his team's long-term answer, maybe, Harry, to another. We're going to explain after My Computer Career. Friends, is your job recession-proof? Now might be the perfect time to switch careers and become an IT professional with My Computer Career. IT is listed as one of the top recession-proof professions.